I gotta quit calling this work because it's not. No, guys, when you're trying to talk selfish people into being unselfish, it's not work. It's your time is precious. When you're working, you get up and you do the crops and make sure the water's clean, the house is built well, the house is healthy. That's work. Okay. Trying to convince selfish people not to be selfish is, you could be loving your children and enjoying the fruits of your labor. Okay? And then intelligently discussing and doing things that are meaningful and worthwhile. All right. So I shouldn't call getting on this phone and trying to talk selfish people into being not being selfish work. So I got to watch my linguistics. I get on people. It's hard. Jesus tells me that too. He goes, Earl, you got brain damage. Okay. And this is hard and we'll walk you through it, but you're having to do this. And you have emotions, and your emotions, they're constantly playing with your emotions. Like my dad prays to Jesus all the time. And the one person in the world that is most like Jesus is his kid. Okay. And then when I come and share with him the things that me and Jesus talked about, he gets mad and always glares at me, and you're not talking to Jesus because Jesus is God and he's going to solve all our problems and he knows everything. And I'm like, okay. And then he gets mad and then he talks to Jesus. And he goes, Jesus, Lord, tell me. And so I talked to Muhammad. I talked to D.T. Suzuki. Jesus has me talking to all these people because Jesus is a person. I come and share it with Dad, and he glares at me and gets mad, And then when I talk to him about the stuff that's going on, that I'm learning about the scientists locally, he huffs and he puffs, he rolls his eyes, and he gets all pissed. And he talks to Jesus constantly. I want to know what's going on. Tell me what's going on. I tell him what's going on. He tells me I'm wrong. And I'm not talking to Jesus because Jesus knows everything. I was like, no, Dad, Jesus does not know everything. Would you want to know what's going on in the Obama or the Clinton house? I don't. Okay, you know what I'm saying? No. Okay. If you were Jesus, would you want to be there? That's mean to do to Jesus. Why would you put Jesus in the brothels where the children are raped to death in Juarez because of bad science projects at White Sands? Why do that to Lord Jesus Christ? Why would you have Jesus be omniscient and omnipotent and spend his time watching us suffer from their selfishness and their abuse, and then watching them be addicted to it and think they're enjoying it, and then sit and do nothing about it because he's a complete selfish asshole like the people at White Sands? What? Jesus doesn't work for NASA, right? And so you try to explain that to Dad. I was like, no, Dad, Jesus is a human being. He doesn't know any better than us what the devil and Satan are up to. Okay. He always tells me that, Earl, you're going to tell me. Am I there? No, you are. Okay. Because you're doing it, not me. I'm okay. Yeah, I didn't carry the cross up to the mountain. Okay. So I wasn't crucified for Jesus. Jesus was crucified. Jesus wasn't crucified for Peter or Paul. They were crucified. They had to do it themselves. They had to carry the load themselves. They had to teach everybody the Gospels when Jesus was gone. Okay. So it's hard for people that have turned Jesus into an omnipotent God because the Romans are just fucking evil. And they are fucking evil. And when you get the stuff about the Eucharist and the stuff they talked about on that Ancient Aliens show yesterday, it's like, no. That's Gordon B. Hinckley and that's Pope Francis. That's not me and Jesus. Do this in remembrance of me. So, you guys get to eat and drink and be with the people you love, and they're going to crucify me tomorrow and take me away from all of you. Okay? So every time you get together and eat and have the things that we need to live our lives, to provide oxygen for the blood, stuff like that, think of me, because I won't be here with you guys. They're going to take me away from you. They say I'm bad. I teach bad things. I send people to hell in their minds. That I'm wrong about teaching religion. And they have to send me to the Romans because I will get people killed because I don't teach religion correctly. It was horrible, and that's what happened because Jesus is a human being and God's omniscient and omnipotent and you're not God. And it's hard, and I love my father very much, but I'm not mad at my father. I'm sick and tired of the assholes at NASA that fuck with his head and then think it's funny. And then when I get irritated by it and I'm mad at dad, I'm like, why? I always tell myself, like I did that with the cats, why am I mad at the cat? It's the asshole studying us at White fucking Sands, and you have to constantly remind yourself not to be mad. Like when you used to go to work at an extortion gig and the people at the extortion gigs piss you off and then your kids are doing something stupid because they went to consumers training all day. Dad, I want a game. Dad, I want designer clothes. Dad, I want tickets to go see a narcissist at the stadium in town yell about their dysfunctional sex life to music, right? Like, fuck, I got this asshole. Now you're being an asshole. It's like, you sent them to school to be an asshole. Fuck, I did. Okay. Gosh damn it, I'm so stupid, right? So you've got to understand. All right. Yeah, it helped. Talking with Mitch really helped. And with the stuff, with watching that stuff about the blood, it's just like I said earlier, it's just whatever you put in the river. And the water, it carries oxygen. And the blood is oxygen that carries the oxygen. So the one lady, from Las Cruces got picked up by Leyland's nutrients. It's like, no, go fucking figure. Get the fuck out of here. It's got and that's what Michio Kaku said. It's got this, that, and that. And then he said, what they're doing in space, what you're doing in space, where you pay money for the people at NASA to go in space, is they're growing plants to eat, out of algae from their own, what they're putting out. For that, plants are providing oxygen for them to breathe, and then they put back the stuff for the plants, and then their pee and their poop is providing the nutrients for the plants. So they're living off their own pee and poop through algae with their oxygen, but you don't have your bone density. It's not good for your bone density up there. You don't have good gravity. So people are being put up there and used as lab rats, surviving off of their own carbon that the algae is providing. And that's what they're doing. And that's what you're paying for those people to be in space that got stuck in space for another 6 months. Like, you're literally torturing them. So the rich people can study them to see, well, can we be like these assholes that travel around in space, conquering galaxies like Zorak and Brak, right? And so they go from place to place because they're a bunch of scientists discovering that there's stuff there that we need to eat and provide oxygen so we can keep going and discovering stuff in our spaceships. Is like, can you discover that you destroy your own planets and then destroy your own environments and destroy each other through your egos? That would be a nice discovery. You got a card in your back pocket with numbers on it that say you're more important than me. See what I'm saying? Boy, poo-poo naughty. And so, I sit and I watch these people, and it was sad because Lawrence's sisters, I really like Lawrence's sisters. His older sisters and me got along real well the brief times we've met. I really enjoy them. They were fun, exuberant, New Mexico, Mexican Catholic tradition, luminaries. And I just dug them, right? They were the ones I was talking to in the front yard when Francis locked us out of the house, right? It was Lawrence's sisters and his sister-in-law. And they're wonderful. I just love them. We talked about growing up New Mexican and all the fun things, and the goofy things that happen. And Pancha goes, they wouldn't take her in one of the hospitals because she had a heart condition and they wouldn't operate on her cancer because they couldn't afford the lawsuit or the legal things. You can't sign off and say, if this happens, so they have to have money to cover the things, and they had already extended themselves too much. So they didn't have the money to pay for her if she ended up dying in their hospital. Like, the people that with FEMA cut off and can't take care of the migrants that are moved around by the CIA to have everybody pissed off at living people, breathing people because they're eating, drinking, and taking up space, Well, they're living. Oh, and you hate them for this. Yes. Why? Well, they poop, they pee, and they're a trained consumer, and they toss plastic and boxes everywhere. Okay, no Solomon anywhere to be found, right? And so it's pretty gross. It's pretty gross to see the abuse of people and how it affects people and how you take the the abuse from the abuser, and you can't do anything about it. So you take it out on the other person being abused with you. And you're like, okay, hey, I was in the military. I get it. And so you're like, now go kill the Russians, poor people. You need more money. And they're making sure that they're trying to take all your money. The Russian poor people are trying to take all my money, but I don't have any money. Don't you think that the rich people in Russia are trying to take your money? And then the poor people in Russia's poor people don't have no money neither. And then we don't have technology to keep our money and make sure we have our money so we can have sex with the cast of Glickid. Fuck them. They're assholes. They really are. But I understand why they're assholes. They connected me to Jennifer Lopez, and it's like, oh, second act me this, and Boy Next Door me that, and Hustler me this. And so, I want to pay with you everywhere. Oh, go away. I got her in prayer this morning. I was like, can't you just get it through your head that you don't like me and I don't like you? Haven't you figured that out yet, woman? So with you coming to try to use your sexuality to manipulate me for the poo-poo naughty, it's just not working anymore. I'm too fucking tired. You sit there and watch. I had the best sexual reputation in the history of the U.S. military, and you watch them sexually groom and abuse my cute little wife and her gorgeous daughter and didn't do anything to help stop it. And then when I got up to stop it from happening to people, not just my daughter and my wife, but to everybody, you sat and watched these corporations try to rot my genitalia off of chemicals in jobs that they provide for drug dealers and human traffickers, because that's the only job this town would give me. And she didn't raise a finger to help me. She just sprinkled money on it and said, hi, I think I'm Ronald Reagan's genitalia. I think you are too. How Death Valley days of you. I know she's broken. I'm not mad at her. I'm just like, take a look at yourself, take a look at yourself, take one big look, take a look at yourself, R-A-S-B-E-C-T. I shouldn't give you any. I'm not guru, I'm Earl. I respect people and I have empathy for them, but I have to do all this problem solving so we can actually get to work and enjoy the fruits of our labor. And I'm tired. More tired than Madeline Kahn ever thought of being tired in a Mel Brooks extortion gig. Yeah.